Christopher Columbus, the definitive game changer. This is a flipped lesson covering Chapter 2 of Section 2. There are several objectives to this flipped lesson. After viewing the video, I want you to be able to 1. Recall why Columbus had a difficult time finding anyone to fund his expedition. 2. I want you to be able to identify the country as well as the monarchs of the country who paid for his expedition and their 3 requests for Columbus. 3. I want you to identify Columbus's original 3 ships. In addition, I want you to recall the date Columbus's crew first spotted land, and this is a date I need you to remember, the month, day, and year. I want you to be able to state how many total voyages Columbus took. Next, I want you to explain where Columbus first landed compared to where he thought he landed, because there's a big difference. And last, and this is probably the most important objective, I want you to be able to answer the essential question: how did early exploration permanently change the world? And when you answer that question, I want you to be able to focus in on Christopher Columbus. Now, being honest, some of these objectives you may know before viewing, and that's fantastic. If they're all new to you, that's okay too. But by the end of the lesson, you must be able to address all of the objectives I have for you. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. A little background on Christopher Columbus. He was Italian and the son of a wool merchant with 3 brothers and 1 sister. In his early years, he worked as a cartographer, and through his study of maps and talking to different sailors, he actually believed India could be reached faster and easier by sailing west rather than the traditional route of going east. And this was a radical idea for the time period. Remember, this is when a lot of people still believed the earth was flat, and if you would go west, you could eventually fall off the face of the earth. Columbus, though, had a totally different point of view, and he shopped this idea around various European countries. We're talking Portugal, France, England, and he was looking for a monarch to buy into his theory and pay for an expedition to India. Unfortunately, no one thought Columbus had a clue as to what he was talking about. And it wasn't until Columbus got to Spain and caught the eye of Queen Isabella until he finally found someone to buy into this theory. So again, being perfectly honest, it was a little schmoozing with Queen Isabella that got Christopher Columbus this deal. Ferdinand and Isabella agreed to fund Columbus's first expedition with 3 requests. They wanted land, riches, and Catholic converts in exchange for giving Columbus 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, as well as a crew of about 90 men. Christopher Columbus set sail on his first voyage on August 3, 1492, leaving from Spain. The trip across the Atlantic was tough. If you can, stop the video and read the excerpt from Christopher Columbus's journal. You can see some of the troubles he had to deal with his crew. It wasn't easy for anyone. Luckily, things turned for the better on October 12, 1492, when 1 lucky crewman spotted land. The crew arrived in San Salvador, an island in the Bahamas. Columbus, however, had no idea he discovered a new world. Instead, he thought he had finally reached the Indies. Columbus's first voyage is probably the most remembered, but he actually made 3 additional voyages during his lifetime. During those 4 trips, he brought back food, spices, Catholic converts, and claimed a great deal of land for Spain. During that time, he explored the present-day countries of Haiti, Cuba, the Dominican Republic, and a number of other small islands. When he died, he still believed that he was in India. He never understood that he had reached a new world. Spain grew very powerful and very wealthy from Columbus, and his journeys west encouraged other explorers to venture out and follow him and try new things. He died realizing he accomplished great things, but he never realized the amazing impact he would have on world history. So that concludes our flip lesson on Christopher Columbus, the definitive game changer. Coming back to the objectives, did we achieve them? I'm going to read through them one more time. After viewing the video, you should now be able to recall why Columbus had a difficult time finding anyone to fund his expedition. 2. Identify the country and the king and queen who paid for his expedition and their request for Columbus. You should be able to identify the 3 ships Columbus used on that first voyage. You should be able to recall the date Columbus's first crew spotted land. And just a reminder, you need to know the month, day, and year. Next, you need to state how many total voyages Columbus took. You also need to explain where Columbus first landed and compare that to where he thought he landed. And finally, you need to be able to answer the essential question, and it's a thinker question. How did early exploration permanently change the world? If any of these objectives are challenging to you, please go back and review the lesson. You can go and watch the flip lesson again, or just watch a portion of it. But all of the objectives you should have after seeing this video. Please go back and watch all or part of the video if you need to. So to show that you watched the flip lesson, you have your choice of one of 2 follow-up activities. The first one is below. It's a summary paragraph. You're going to incorporate the following words in the right-hand column into a paragraph summarizing the story of Columbus and his impact on history. I would recommend pausing the video now and copying the words down, or if you want, you're welcome to print this off, or you could even just keep this paused until you finish your paragraph. This assignment is due tomorrow. You can hand it in, written by hand, or you can send it to me via Google Docs. The words and phrases that you must have in your paragraph, again, are in the right-hand column. All of those words and phrases must be in your paragraph. Order doesn't matter, but all the words must be there. Your second optional follow-up assignment is to answer the essential question. You will be answering the question, how did Columbus's early exploration permanently change the world? This response must be at a minimum 8 sentences in length. Again, that's a minimum. You are always welcome to go above and beyond the 8 sentences, but you can't do less and receive full credit. This assignment, just like the last, can be handwritten, or you can submit it via Google Docs. I just must have it by the start of your class period tomorrow. Being perfectly honest, option 2 is a bit more challenging. I strongly encourage it for students who like to push themselves a little bit in my class, those who like to impress me, and I also encourage it for those students who already came into the flip lesson knowing some of the objectives. Once you finish either completing option 1 or option 2, you're done the flip lesson. I'll see you in class tomorrow. Bye.